Hi, this is my recording in regards to my reflection about using virtual reality. In terms of my usage of virtual reality, I think I may have used it once, like in real life with a group that was kind of showcasing what the St. Luke's Children's Hospital would look like after it was finished during our Fit One race about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Got to put the goggles on, had the hands, got to kind of tour the facility without having to be in the facility. And that was really, really cool. But that was probably my extent of my experience. This was cool. It was so simple to purchase. It was not expensive. Like I know that some of the more higher tech or the more fine-tuned ones are, but still it served its purpose. It was very easy to download the app and put it on my Samsung Android phone. And I kind of went a little crazy just because I have 3 kids and they were like mystified. They were like, "What's this, Mom?" My oldest, who's 10, he was like, "Oh, I know exactly what that is." And my younger 2, who are 8 and 7, were like, "Well, what is it, Mom?" And so we let them play with it a little bit too. And it was kind of fun to watch their face because my 8-year-old was just blown away. She was like, "This is about Rushmore," and all of these really cool things. But once they got over the fun and then I got a chance to really play with it, I really love the stars. Being born in Idaho and being born and raised and living in a very rural area, I love looking at stars. And so I chose a couple of games, but then I also chose the planetarium VR, which was really, really cool. I do wish that it would, I think that I would like to have taken my own pictures, used maybe the VR camera, but I couldn't get it to work with the cardboard. But be able to take some star pictures. I love Stanley, Idaho, and they're a dark sky wilderness area. So I see the value in that, but the star one, the planetarium one, was really cool because you could see the constellations and you could even have it moving so that you can hold still. And I kind of laid on my back and did that. So that was really, really remarkable. The video games were a little hard on my phone. I don't think that the cardboard visuals, my son was complaining. He's like, "Oh, the graphics aren't that great." But we did VR zombies, which I thought was pretty fun and silly. And VR fantasy, which is a little less scary for my younger 2. And then I love, we watch a lot of YouTube. I think I said that in my last video, but I liked the expeditions one, being able to see places like monuments that my kids can't go to or museums that my kids can't go to. So that was really, really remarkable. And just the imagery was just outstanding. The sounds that you could get out of it with your audio turned up were really, really powerful. In terms of how it could be used, I would say that there is good and bad with anything. I think the good could be that it does do what you had suggested in the medical world. I work as an advisor in the College of Health Science, and we advise tons of students who want to go off to medical school. And this could be a great venue for them so they don't have to, they can still stimulate their experience. They can still practice their skills of communicating and touching and stuff before they create harm situations where they could hurt a patient if they didn't have their precise know-how and skill set already established. So I do think that's great. I do think it's bad as well. And we have a beautiful world to live in. And I think that with COVID and the pandemic, we've learned that we can't just be cooped up in our houses, or as humans, we're social butterflies and we need to be out in the world and getting exercise and doing some of those things. And while I know you can do exercise with virtual reality, I feel like it might confine somebody to home. The transverse of that is that it could allow someone who can't leave their home to still experience the world. I think it's very useful for education. I think it can be used for training and skills. I think there's so many really great opportunities. For me in my career as an academic advisor and a pre-health coordinator, I see this as a really cool way to allow students to tour a campus before they apply for medical school and do an interview. I also think it would be really great to do it as an interview style too, once the costs, come down. But being able to like interact in a real true virtual reality where you're connected with someone else, an avatar, somewhere clear across the country, I think that that's very, very powerful and would allow some of our students the freedom to not have to pay for a plane ticket and really get to evaluate the schools that they want to go to. I was mystified on expeditions. Boise State University is one of the colleges that's done this, and it was so fun. I've been on the blue turf a lot of times, and to actually still be in the stadium, and it was near real. It was near real for me. So I would say that I also think that this could be an excellent opportunity to do stuff with advising in terms of allowing students a little bit more flexibility if they can manage. With the pandemic, with us doing Zoom sessions, virtual sessions, those aren't the same as virtual reality, but augmentation opportunities are pretty. I kind of like augmented reality a little bit better than virtual. I don't know why. I can't honestly say I know exactly why. My husband really wants one of those mirrors that you can see your email and your phone information right on the mirror screen, and so it would project that on there. So this technology isn't just cool for me. I think it has a lot of great uses. I've seen simulation centers in our Norco building with our nursing students, and this could take it an extra step further. I think in terms of using it to help our practitioners be better before they're actually working on patients is extremely valuable. For me as an advisor, I think that it's another set of tools in my toolkit, and it maybe opens my ideas to bigger picture, not just necessarily visualizing myself in a brick and mortar kind of sense, and that we can be a little bit more thoughtful. The other thing that I want to add to this is that I find some value in what they were talking about when we watched the video about the cars. And about being able to design cars in a way that they're right there at the brick and mortar, they're at that moment where they can kind of make changes and everybody can kind of see it, even if you're not in the same location. That was pretty important. And for me as a design, as I'm designing programming for our students, it makes me think, well, gosh, how can we do that? And some examples of some very small experiences with virtual Zoom, my background. So a blurred background and being able to still talk to you and you not see everything behind me. Also for students, they get to do a dry erase board. That's really, really cool. So when they're in a Zoom session and they're having a conversation with us, we play Pictionary during one of our cohort meetings. So when you're trying to keep people safe and an environment safe, this is still a very great way for us to still keep doing what we're doing and interacting with students. I just would want to do it like you're supposed to do with anything, not in abundance. Like I wouldn't want it to be the only mechanism to be able to work with our students. Some students, they can't access that. And while this cardboard VR was not expensive for me, not every student could manage that as a supply. And so I think we have to be careful about making sure that it's equitable and available to all if we're going to do it. If it always is, when if consumers first get it, it's expensive. It's hard to maintain. This obviously isn't hard for me to maintain at all. But I think that that's something we have to be aware of, is keeping in mind equity. Can we provide these types of experiences to all? That's what they're meant for, with the educational piece, like you talked about, you wanted you to be able to go see something that maybe you couldn't because you couldn't afford it, or a field trip you couldn't do because you couldn't pay for the ticket to the museum or whatever it might be. So I do think that this is a step in that direction to try and be equitable, but as with everything, I think we have to be thoughtful about that too. So thank you for this opportunity. It was fun. I still have all the apps on my phone, and I think my kids are going to have some fun with it for sure. But my favorite apps were the Expedition and the Planetarium VRs that I did. Zombie one was okay, but my son was kind of right. God, it's kind of crummy. And the VR Fantasy was a little hard to work with, but otherwise, thank you very much.